Hello and welcome back. We are continuing on our topic with nutrition realization video 2. So today in this video we are going to continue on this topic, and we're going to talk a little bit more about ingredients and how to start identifying some of the ingredients in our food. So one thing I really want to stress, let me backtrack for a moment here. One is I was using these concepts and when I was losing weight 12, 13 years ago, and I naturally started to make better food choices, and I naturally stopped having food cravings. And so that's why we're going to be talking about, really even into next week, we're going to be talking about how to balance and how to put our food together. And so right now we're going to be talking a lot about some awareness pieces into that. So, but I really want to point something out, and I really want to stress something here. So I'm going to be kind of talking about educating on. We're going to talk a little bit about, we really want to start making, or want to point out making some better food choices. That does not mean, even where I'm going to talk today about is educating on how to make those better food choices, but I really want to, point out, I really don't want you to compare yourself or get mad at yourself or beat yourself up if you're not in a certain place. That is very okay. That's not the point of this. The point is to educate you. And even if we talk about organic, non-GMO, and you're not even there, it's very, very okay. It takes years to maybe get there. That's how it took me a long time to get there. And so I really want, if you're in a place where you are, maybe going out to eat and maybe doing fast food a few times a week or whatever. Like, what I want to do is start making some better options in there, and we start making strides in that area. So it doesn't mean that we're going to fast food all the way to GMO organic. Okay, so we're really not. And so when we start to make these drastic changes, we start to not be able to maintain it or last, or we can't even hold up to it. So please hear me in that. And I'm totally here to meet every single one of you exactly where you are. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen with you and go from here. So nutrition realization, the key components to sustainable weight loss. And we are talking about the the essentials to nutritional principles here. Okay, so we're going to be talking. We're going to be looking at chemicals. So we're counting chemicals trumps counting calories. Okay, so there's a concept that some people maybe have a hard time grasping, but I really want us to start looking at the chemicals and the products that we're buying. Okay, so again, I'm going to stress this one more time, and you actually might get tired of me saying this, and I'm really sorry. Sorry, I'm going to have to miss a phone call from my mom. She's tried to call me. So I really want to stress that, I kind of forgot what I was saying here, but I'm going to get back to it. But I really just want to, what I was going to say is that you might get tired of me saying this, but I just really want I'm going to probably say it over the coming weeks, to be honest with you, because I'm not here to say you have to be right here. We have to be perfect with everything. We're honestly might be in a different place to where we're choosing, certain foods, and that's very okay. Okay. So, number 2.2, forget tracking points and calories. We're going to focus on reducing chemical count. So we're going to start looking at increasing food quality, and that's the key to improving our health, okay? So the difference between high quality food and low quality food. So our goal is always do the best we can to get closer to Farmer Jane, okay? So Farmer Jane is the very bottom, and that's the least processed, okay? So the right-hand side, we have the most processed, which is like a Twinkie. Or maybe Snickers or Fruit Loops or something like that. And then so we're wanting to make strides towards getting something better into our body, okay? So least processed is going to be the locally grown and seasonally organic farm food, and so, and please hear me, I said we're let's start looking into that kind of stuff. So that's just kind of what we're looking at. we're going to be comparing some food items here, okay? So in this particular example, we're going to look at breakfast sausages, okay? We got Jimmy Dean's Premium Original Pork Sausage Patty, and then we have Applegate Farms Natural Chicken and Sage Breakfast Sausage, okay? So in the Jimmy Dean's, we've got pork water contains 2% or less of sodium, lactate, salt, sugar, monosodium glutamate, natural flavorings, BHA, BHT, and citric acid. Okay, so monosodium glutamate, natural flavorings, who knows what we really just don't know what that is exactly. Some of these things, like as we've heard before, if you can't say it, be careful with putting in your body. Some of these things are just, both of them are processed, by the way. Both of these items are processed, and I'll go through the next one. And so let me read Applegate. Applegate Farms Natural Breakfast Sausage. It's got chicken, water contains less than 2% of sugar, salt, and spices, and sage. So between the two of these, the Applegate is going to be a better one because it's got better food. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 compared to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10. So the Applegate, the one on the bottom even has more natural stuff. And then the one above has actually things that are, when it's processed, our bodies have a harder time being able to digest it and have a hard time having it in our bodies and things like that. That's why we really want to start looking at some of these things. And so just start looking at, when you're at the grocery store, just start looking at what's in our food. And if you're not already doing that. So another one I want to start to look at is potato chips. So if you're going to have a potato chip, let's look at two different potato chips. We got Pringles, which has dried potatoes, vegetable oil that contains one or more of corn oil, cottonseed oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, rice flour, wheat starch, maltodextrin, mono, and diglycerides, salt, and dextrose, okay? And then we got Kettle Brand potato chips, the sea salt flavor. That's got non-GMO potatoes, safflower, sunflower, or canola oil, and sea salt, okay? So one thing that to point out is the Kettle Brand has all non-GMO ingredients in it. So that's a very good thing, okay? So we want to, and it's got actually 1, 2, 3 ingredients in it. So if we're going to look at a potato chip, let's look at the one above. It's got 1, 2. I don't know if the stuff in the middle, to be honest, is all going to be considered but it's actually got quite a few more ingredients. But things like maltodextrin, mono, and diglycerides, and then even the things, the vegetable oil, everything that's in that is going to be like a GMO, so it's got to be modified ingredients. Anytime you're looking at soybean oil or sunflower oil, you'll just want to start looking at if it's going to be organic, non-GMO. Those are the things. For example, the bottom, it's already saying that, so that's going to be an okay item to be, or the better, in the sense, the better food item for your body. So, and here's the thing I want to tell you: are you going to, let's not freak out. I'm not here to point out to have you freak out whether or not you're eating good or bad food. Okay. The point is, one is we are going to all die, and I'm not here to be, and the thing is, we want to start looking at higher quality just so we can have a long-lasting life, okay? So if you end up having some of these foods in your body, ingredients in your body, that's okay, but we want to start just striving for that eventually, when the time ends up being, and again, it takes time to build into this, but between the two of these, the one on the bottom is going to be the better food choice, okay? One more that I want to point out is fruit. We're going to look at cereal, okay? We got Fruit Loops and we've got granola. So Fruit Loops has sugar, whole grain corn flour, wheat flour, whole grain oat flour, oat fiber, soluble corn fiber, partially hydrogenated vegetable oil, salt, sodium, ascorbate, and ascorbic acid, Can't say that next one, but reduced iron, natural orange, lemon, cherry, raspberry, blueberry, lime, and other natural flavors. Red number 40, blue number 2, turmeric, color yellow number 6, zinc oxide, blue number 1, and it's got some vitamins in it. Okay. Honestly, who knows what some of this stuff's in it, and we have actually a hard time being able to process these type of foods into our body. The next one, the granola, Nature's Path Pumpkin Flax Plus Granola, has organic rolled oats, organic evaporated cane sugar, which is our juice, which is sugar, organic non-GMO soy oil, organic brown rice flour, organic pumpkin seeds, organic flax seeds, organic oat syrup solids, sea salt, organic molasses, and organic cinnamon. So between the two of these, as you can see, if we were to look at what might be the better food choice, if you're looking at a cereal, the bottom one is going to be better. Not only does it have organic ingredients in it, it's got less ingredients in it, okay? It's just going to be much better for our body to be able to process it. So how do you find the highest quality foods when we're looking, when you're in the grocery store, okay? So I want to point out 3 quick tips that we want to look at. And some of the things that we were looking at, even in the things we're comparing, is we want to look at buying organic. We want to look at buying non-GMO. We want to look at food labels that have fewer ingredients in it, okay? And if you're not there yet, that is okay. So I want you to start just being aware and educating yourself on that. And so, so in a tip here, so if we were to look at food labels, the more important thing that we want to look at is we want to kind of look at going away from the calorie and the fat content, and we want to start looking at food labels, okay? So when we eat more high quality food, the processed low quality food starts to naturally fall away. And that's why when the concept, if you've heard, eat more, not less, will help you balance blood sugar. And we're actually going to be looking into, even next week, on more so of how we're going to balance blood sugar. And when we talk about balance, I'm going to talk about balancing your food, your plate, and how that's going to really help you sustain and help you melt the pounds off. And how that naturally helps you just start falling away from these processed foods. So when we eat more high quality foods, we'll want to eat less quality foods. So how do we know exactly which foods are the highest quality and therefore the healthiest? I'm going to be giving you some resources on this, and we'll continue to talk about this over the next few weeks. But I did want to get you started, and I want to talk with us a little bit already about what we've already looked at. So far we've looked at frameworks, are the Farmer Jane that we talked about at the very beginning, which is the food spectrum always moving towards the least processed food possible, finding labels with the fewest ingredients, and buying organic non-GMO. So those are the things we've talked about so far. Why do we want to do this? Because the protein, fat, and fiber, which is the carb, so basically the protein, fat, and the carb will slowly start to absorb the sugar and caffeine, and it actually helps us go in this less blood sugar roller coaster. So we'll start to balance, and we have more sustainable, we actually find ourselves more sustainable throughout the day. So I want to recap here is why we're talked about why counting chemicals trumps counting calories. What it does is helps us process these foods much better, and it actually helps us to naturally, when we start to eat higher quality type foods, we start to naturally find ourselves going away from those foods. So start to watch yourself. It's not an overnight thing. It's not something that's going to happen in a week or anything like that, but start to find yourself paying attention and start being aware of how this naturally starts to happen for you. We talked about how to identify high quality foods by using frameworks like the Farmer Jane's food spectrum. We talked about how to read food labels and 3 steps to identifying high quality foods in the grocery store. When you eat more high quality foods, low quality foods magically and naturally begin to fall away. And we're going to talk about that more so even next week too. And then we talked about protein, fat, and fiber and how it stabilizes our blood sugar. Okay, so I want you to start looking at an awareness piece right here. So one thing I want you to do is start being aware of more than anything else. Doesn't mean you're going to start changing it yet. I would love for you to start doing that. But I want you right now is start to, as I shared in the last video, start looking at the food label, and I want you to start looking at the protein. I want you to start looking at the carbs, and then I want you to start looking at the fat content. Okay, we're going to start looking at putting those pieces together and looking at those, and then I want you to start being aware of some of the ingredients on the food labels, and we just want the awareness piece at the moment. And so that's what we have for today. Comment below if you've got any ahas from this, if there's anything you're walking away with, and I will see you guys over in the Facebook group.